pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the July 31, 2014 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Kevin Cook, who serves as vice chair and represents District 2, and Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
First item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or comments about the consent agenda?
I do not have any questions.
I don't either. Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Bueller and seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business. A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $913,984.66. If we were to look at the highlights out of those vouchers, we have the Aramark, which is the meals at the corrections facility, the holding accounts with the state of Kansas, Health Insurance Administration, payments for infrastructure through Public Works, IT, the Sirius account, and Community Corrections purchased a vehicle. Those highlights total up to $700,719.27. I don't find any issues with the vouchers as presented. I would move for their approval.
I'll second. I've reviewed as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have too, and I continue to appreciate Commissioner Cook summarizing the vouchers that we pay. And so, motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, there are no correction orders.
Thank you. Next item.
Item B, audit finance. Number 1, presentation by Cochran, Head, Vick & Company, PA, of the 2013 independent audit.
Good morning. Betty Greiner, Financial Administrator. I would like to introduce our auditors, Dave Cochran and Michael Keenan from Cochran, Head, Vick & Company. They'd like to make a presentation to you on the audit for 2013.
Thank you, Betty. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm David Cochran, Managing Partner of Cochran Head Vick & Company, and to my right is Mike Keenan. Mike's the Senior Manager of this engagement. First, I'd like to thank Shawnee County and its Commissioners for appointing us as your auditors. It's a very important engagement to us, and we appreciate very much the opportunity to serve as your external auditors for the year 2013. We will display our presentation on the screen to my right, but I think all of you probably have a paper copy, so if you want to make notes or comments, you may. First, I'd also like to thank the Finance Director, Ms. Greiner, and her staff for the excellent assistance we got throughout the engagement. Each year, it seems to work better. Each year, few years we've been here, we believe it's been a vast improvement in the financial administration of Shawnee County. And we'd like to think we have at least some small part in that. We believe there's been a very remarkable change for the better. Not that there's anything bad about it, but it's better. And that's a good thing, is if one can improve, all things can be improved, and certainly Shawnee County's demonstrated that. And again, we're pleased to work here and be a part of that. We also thank all the other elected officials, the county and their staff, for their assistance. I will go through the PowerPoint, Mr. Chairman, as an expeditious manner. I know you've got a lot of things to do, but certainly if you wish any of you to interrupt me during my presentation, that's fine. If you have a question, otherwise we'll have a time after the presentation for questions. Page 1 deals with just a little bit about our firm, and I won't dwell on that. It's there for you to look at if you choose, but we're proud of our firm. We've been around a long time, and CPA firms are audited as well, and our audit has always been either a pass, which is a current. You either pass or fail, and we've always passed, and we're proud of that. And on the second page is pictures of most of the staff that were engaged in the audit here. Page 4, what we were engaged to do, and that was audit financial statements of the county and audit the expenditures of federal awards. So it's called a single audit for the year ended December 31, 2013. And we conducted our audits according to generally accepted auditing standards in the United States and the standards mandated by the Office of Management Board Budget Circular A-133. We planned and performed our audit to obtain reasonable but not absolute assurance statements are not misstated and report on internal controls and compliance. And our audit approach, as most do, always focus on the areas of higher risk. Page 6 is a result question. Are the financial statements free of material misstatement? Our opinion is yes, they are free of material misstatement. Our internal controls over financial reporting adequately designed and operating effectively? And the answer is a yes, with the exception we do have a couple comments in what's called our required communication. And question, did the county comply in all material respects with finance-related laws, regulations that could have a direct impact on the county's major financial programs? And the answer is yes, and we believe that you complied in all material respects with those regulations, statutes. Page number 7, we're required to report certain things to the governing body. Illegal acts, none came to our attention as a result of performing our audit. Changes in significant accounting policies. There was a change with respect to recording the transactions with an entity commonly called JADO. It's a Joint Economic Development Organization. It's an agreement between the city of Topeka and Shawnee County, and some reporting ways where procedures and methodology were instituted that we believe is a better presentation of the activities of JADO. We had no disagreements with management, and accounting estimates are an integral part of any financial presentation. So many things are based on estimate, and on the PowerPoint there's a listing of the major estimates that impact the financial statements. I won't go through those, I won't read them, but management letter comments. The current year financial reporting process, we had some comments with respect to certain adjustments and so forth. And during 2013, although there were some issues with respect to certain items, they were changed as the audit was going on during 2013. And on 2014, also those changes are being made, and it's pleased that somebody actually listens to us, and so they look like they're making some significant changes. And that's all set forth in a document called Required Communications and Management Letter. There's certain new financial standard board pronouncement that's called the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, and we implemented last year one that respect to some transfers of property between the city and the county, and those were implemented early, which I think is a good idea. This year there's some issues, and some new GASBs are called, number 67 and 68, with respect to pension plans and reporting of pension plans. And they could, I'll kind of leave this to you, Mike, but I believe they could have a significant impact on Shawnee County financial statements.
That's correct. In 2015, when the county will implement GASB 68, what that will entail is the county will report a proportionate share of the CAPERS obligation will be reported on the county's financial statements. And GASB 67 relates to CAPERS, and they will implement that 1 year earlier, and they will provide the county with the information to record a net pension expense. And this is a new GASB that's affecting all local governments that follow GAAP. But it's still a couple years away from being implemented here at the county.
And in county's case, do we have the information out from CAPERS?
We do not have the information
Okay, so
as to the extent of the impact on Shawnee County.
Depending on their current funding status, it could be a significant change or it could not be a significant change. Some will be impacted more than others, and CAPERS, I believe, is still working on getting those numbers. And we're not going to try to say what CAPERS may or may not come up with. Lastly, on page 11, we're again very appreciative of being here today. We're very pleased to be here. And if you have some questions, we'd be happy to attempt to respond.
Questions, Commissioner Cook?
My questions actually don't have anything to do with the audit, but just in general, how many years has Cochran, Head and Vick performed the audit for the county?
I believe this is our 5th year.
Okay. And I'm part of other organizations and groups, and I know in the other organizations and groups, there's a recommendation that every set of years you would change auditing firms just to make sure that if there are any issues. And
Those, the rules with respect to auditor rotation began to be of importance probably 5 years ago, and they began with the idea that there should be a rotation. They didn't express, the SEC had something to do with it, GASB had something to do with it, and Government Finance Officers Association had issues. The current trend is that as minimum you change the engagement partner and the engagement senior manager. The trend is away from changing auditors unless there's a good reason to change, or they're not doing a good job, or there's a perception they've lost their independence. We believe that a county stands out among some governmental entities. Another issue is whether or not you change is the complexity of the audit and the simplicity of the audit. If the audit is very simple and then a change does not require a learning curve, it's a very easy transitional. Counties are one of the most difficult governmental audits they are. We've done a lot of county work. We're experiencing county work. And there's a lot to a county. They're involved in a lot of things that others, such as cities, are not. And cities are typically ruled by maybe a different structure that maybe makes it easier. Sometimes it's not as easier, but we believe counties stand alone. Not that they're doing anything wrong, they're doing a lot of things right, but it's more complex. No one at this date is requiring a change of auditors. No organization requires that. But we believe that the county is going to do what they think is proper, but we may well, if need be, we would change the engagement partner and the engagement senior manager. We have other senior managers that have worked on this engagement, and we have other partners that could be. It's not a requirement, it's just a consideration. And I might add, as incumbents, we certainly are against that law. We're not politicians, but we are. That was meant to be a joke, but it really isn't. It's very serious that we believe that
Yeah.
we've done the county
Well,
a remarkable job, and we would think that the nature of Shawnee County, it would not mandate any audit change at all, but again, the commissioners make those rules. And
your commentary that the county has gotten better every year and that we've seen significant improvements with
Yes.
regards to the audit every year, my hope is that we continue to make those
Yeah.
improvements and strides regardless of who the auditor is. But
Yeah.
thank you.
I will say one thing further, Mr. Commissioner. We're known, our firm is known, throughout our market area, which includes a lot of governments, that they feel there's a new firm comes in every year. And we look at it that way, that we've never been here before. And we look at it, all the controls, the internal control structure. That's why we may mention something that we believe is a deficiency one year that we didn't last year. We've got new people looking. Each year we've had new staff. We've had the only real consistency is myself and Mike. I don't take an active role in the day-to-day operations, but I do oversee what goes on. Mike makes sure that we get some new staff in here and that they're given jobs that someone else had been doing. So we're doing everything we can to work within the spirit of auditor rotation.
Okay. Commissioner.
I might just add, with our IFAS system and then with the Parks and Recreation system coming on with City of Topeka and Shawnee County, I mean, there has been a good bit of challenges and unique to the county. But I believe you have done a good job. Historically, though, we do go out for proposal, request for proposal. What is it, every 3 to 5 years then, right? So I think there was an extension, Betty, I'm looking at you, and then we are probably going to entertain that at some point anyway, so.
That's right. I'll
Oh,
address
excuse me,
that.
go ahead.
No, I'll address that later.
Okay. Okay, any other
Thank you.
questions or?
I'd just like to compliment Betty and her leadership in working with the auditors. And I think the headline here is that this is a clean audit and that Shawnee County is financially sound. In metrics that I care about and look at, general fund balance is going up. We've dedicated ourselves to that. Our net position is better than it's been, and we're reducing our indebtedness. So I think we're doing all the right things financially in what our citizens expect us to do. So again, thank you for coming here. Thank you for working with us, and your service is certainly appreciated.
Thank you.
I would like to address that. We went out for RFP for the 2012 audit, and it was awarded to Cochran, Head and Vick, so that was back-to-back contracts with them. It was a one-year contract with two extensions available. So on this bid or this proposal, this is just the second year of that proposal. I'd also like to say that, you know, this is only my second audit with the county, but the staff of Cochran, Head and Vick has been very, they have had different staff this year than they had last year, which I think is very positive because they have looked at, you know, everybody looks at things a little differently, and they've looked a little more in depth at things this year than the staff maybe did last year. And so I think that it's been a very positive experience from both sides. I think we have certainly learned some things that we need to address, but I don't feel like it has been the same rote audit in the 2 years that I've been here. So just to kind of address that. I'd like to address a little bit, just a few items. First of all, the report date on this audit is July 10th. That is approximately a month earlier than last year, so we are still improving that. That is the earliest date since 2005. So, you know, there again, my goal is to get the audit process completed by the time we start budget. So we are working towards that. Just on the recommendations, you know, they give us prior year recommendations, and then they look at the status of that. Last year, we had 7 of those. This year, we had 2. And one of those was to continue monitoring new accounting procedures or pronouncements. That's something that will always be ongoing. They did address the ones, the pension, reporting for the pensions and that liability. That's something we've already started training on. Capers they have a training that's coming up. They've sent out a save the date announcement on that. So we have been doing some CPE training on that, but we'll also be working with Capers on that training also. As far as the current year recommendations, there are some recommendations they have for our financial reporting process, so we continue to look at that, continue to try to make that better. You know, there's always room for improvement. There's always, you know, ways we can do things better, more efficiently. We are, like I say, as a department, we are working on that and improving that for next year. And then, like I say, the future pronouncements, that's something we always need to be looking at. We will always need to be looking at as those things change. And that we look at continuing professional education. We look at seminars that are available. I know our auditors, they provide a free seminar every year that goes over a lot of these things. It's very helpful. And that's just located in Kansas City. So it's, you know, we try to look at what is local or close by that does not require a lot of travel costs. And so that's something we will continue to do. So do you have any questions for me?
Commissioners?
No.
No. Thank you, Betty. Next item, please.
Item 2, or number 2, consider approval of a request to solicit bids for printing of window envelopes.
This is just asking for your permission to go out for bid for window envelopes. A while back, we came to you and we wanted to print the envelopes ourselves. We are doing that on the normal ones, but what we found is on the window envelopes, as we try to do that in bulk through the printer, the cellophane would get too hot and crinkle. So, you know, we will still be saving money because we're using black ink instead of blue, but you know, and there again, you know how it is. You when you're looking at new things, you try them. What works well, you continue on, and if you need to tweak it, you do. And this is a tweak. So we need to go out. We're just asking for permission to go out for bid on those window envelopes.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer and seconded by Commissioner Bueller to approve the request. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you again, Betty. Next item.
Item C, Health Agency, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-282, 2014 with the University of Kansas School of Education, Department of Health, Sport, and Exercise Sciences to serve as an internship location for students.
Good morning, Commissioners. Misty Kruger, Health Agency. Before you is a copy of that contract that we are looking to engage in with the University of Kansas to have a student come into our health promotions program to have a real-life experience in community outreach, policy planning, things like that to help them advance their education into real world.
Questions for Mr. Kruger?
Comment, we had Washburn last week, we've got KU this week, I think maybe K-State to follow.
We're an equal opportunity internship location.
Was that a motion?
It is, it's a motion to
All right.
approve the contract with Kansas University.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item D, Public Works, Solid Waste, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2014-58, establishing a maximum speed limit of 45 miles per hour on Northwest 46th Street from North Topeka Boulevard East, 1,200 feet.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. Up here on the screen, I have a little aerial view of the area that we are that is under consideration here. As you know, we just this last week we opened up the new roundabout at 46th and Topeka. I don't know if I have I think it's a pointer, which is located in this area here. Currently, oops, not sure what happened here. Currently, Northeast 46th Street here has a speed limit of 55 miles per hour. And what we're attempting to do, is particularly for folks that will be driving westbound, we want to lower the speed limit down to 45 at about 1,200 feet east of the roundabout now, so that people just begin to slow down as they are approaching the roundabout intersection. So that's really the whole point of this request. We just feel it will be safer to get people in the mode of slowing down as they approach the intersection now. So that's really what the request is all about. So if there's any questions regarding this, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions or comments about the resolution?
The speed limit on Topeka Boulevard or 46th Street West?
46th Street West, that is still under construction, the second phase of that project. When that project is done, we'll likely come forward and do the same thing for Northwest 46th Street. Topeka Boulevard already has a speed limit that is conducive to matching. I believe it's 40 or 45 right now, so it wouldn't require it.
Anything else, Commissioner?
No, that was going to be my question as well, whether it was consistent in the whole intersection. So move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the resolution by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please, Chris.
Number 2, consider approval of request to waive bidding procedures and purchase 972 95-gallon containers from Rerig Pacific at a cost of $46,441.36.
Commissioners, Tom Block again with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a solid waste item, and this item is identical to one I had presented and received approval from a few months ago, in which we have a certain type of trash and recycling container that we've been purchasing from this Rerig Pacific. We want to keep that same type of container in use for the future, so we can quote-unquote brand our containers, so folks see our containers, they identify it as being a Shawnee County solid waste container. The amount we purchased a few months ago, that inventory has dwindled down considerably to a point where we are now in need of enhancing our inventory. And so I received a quote from Rerig Pacific, the company we've been getting our containers from, and the quote that I have attached is just for one load of containers. Actually, I'm requesting 2 loads of containers, so that quote they had just basically doubled it. And so the total request would be for $46,441.36, and the funding would come from the solid waste operational budget, again, which is not tax funded. It is enterprise fund, so it's all based on user fees. So if there's any questions regarding this, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions about the request?
None. Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Tom. Next item.
Item E, County Counselor, number 1, consider acceptance of the Administrative Review Committee report regarding Crosswind Pet Foods and set a public hearing on August 14th, 2014 to consider a tax exemption.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Assistant County Counselor. This item contains 2 requests. We are requesting that you accept the report of the Administrative Review Committee for Crosswind Pet Foods. economic development tax exemption application and to set a public hearing considering that request on August 14th during our regularly scheduled meeting on that date.
So this doesn't actually approve the request. It accepts the report and sets a public hearing date.
Correct.
Okay, I
As
just wanted
per
to-
our procedures,
Okay.
there is required, and by state law, there is required to be a public hearing. This merely accepts the report, which is a non-binding recommendation from the Administrative Review Committee. The Board of County Commissioners always has the final determination on that, subject to review then by the Board of Tax Appeals. We would simply set a public hearing for that. All interested parties would be provided notice as per statute for August 14th.
Okay, very good. I'll make a motion to accept the review committee report and to set the public hearing date for August 14th, 2014. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Jim. Next
Thank you,
item.
Commissioners.
Administrative Communications, number 1, presentation by AMR regarding the public CPR program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ken Keller with AMR. I have 3 of our staff with us today who are going to participate and help teach you compression-only CPR. Sarah Thielenhaus is actually a native of Topeka. She graduated from Shawnee Heights, also from Washburn University with degrees in psychology and biology. Clint Lehue is actually, I think, out of Salina, graduated from K-State with a degree in criminal justice and is in charge of our on-site or mobile medicine program for AMR. Ann Cook, you might see some similarities there. She's the better looking one of the cooks. Ann has a degree in criminal justice from Central Missouri State, spent 12 years in child psychiatry. So when she came to work for EMS, it wasn't much of a change. And she is a brand new paramedic for us and has been with us over here for about 7, 8 months, 6, 7 months. 7 months, yeah. And so the reason I brought Ann on too is that one of the things we do deals with rhythm and pace and how we get the rate down. And American Heart recommends using the Bee Gees, Saving a Life, right? So I asked anybody, and Ann was in singing the song and she was dancing and doing it. Does that run in the family?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh, it does.
We didn't sing well, but
Doing
we
this. One of the things when we did a recent talk with you and got to read the newspaper afterwards, and there were some numbers that were a little bit of askew, and I had Ali come over, and we spent over 2 hours together, and I'll tell you, there's nothing more nerve-wracking than spending 2 hours with a reporter in the same room. That was tough. Ali had to double up my medication that day. But Ali promised me that she would come and participate with this session, so we want to first demonstrate, and then I have certificates, have each of you come up and do compression-only CPR. What we know about compression-only CPR is if we have a witnessed arrest, and to keep it simple, and a bystander immediately starts compression CPR without the ventilation, we double the chances for survival of that patient. Double the chances of survival. People were reluctant in the past because they don't like to do mouth-to-mouth. I've done it 3 times because I've happened on people. It was not a pleasant experience for me, but we were able to do it anyways. But the compression-only CPR, we know that the oxygen content of the blood will sustain for several minutes with cardiac compressions only until first responders arrive, the fire department or EMS, and then we can start our advanced care. AMR has really good averages. I actually have a sheet for you with our 2012 stats. I hope to have 2013 very, very shortly. But I want you to know that one of the things that Ali really reminded me when I read this, and I have to give Ali the credit for this, is it reminded us how important it is not only to do a good job of what we do here, but to reach out and get the community active in what we do. And this will increase our survival rates for Shawnee County. And we thought there was no better way than to get the commission to show their willingness to learn the compressions, only CPR. We brought kneeling pads. I'm one of those with a knee that hurts a little bit, but I can get down to do this as well. To encourage the citizens of Shawnee County to learn this life-saving skill. To emphasize this, just within the last few weeks, we had a call to respond to residents on a person in cardiac arrest. A member of that person's family started compression-only CPR. Fire arrived on scene with EMS just right behind them. Throughout the course of events, we did find the patient in cardiac arrest. We were able to do the skills that allowed us to resuscitate this patient. They survived through the hospital, and they went home to their family and friends. This would probably not have been accomplished if a family member had not taken the time and effort to learn compression-only CPR. And we're talking a skill that takes minutes to learn, but a skill that gives us those precious minutes later on to save a life. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have Sarah and Clint and Ann just very quickly show you what it looks like. And I had them set this up so the butts are back this way. And then each one of them is going to work with each commission. Allie owes me a favor, so she's going to do this also. Good, guys. And kind of talk this through. Now, one of the things you'll know, you guys can start. We're going to do this to the saving a life, saving a life, saving a life. And that gets the compression rate going. Go ahead, go. If you don't hear the clicking, it means we're not going down far enough on the chest. Now, these mannequins, we have 5 of these in adults and 2 in children. We do have the more sophisticated mannequins, and the mannequins are full size that we can do everything on, around $10,000 to $12,000 a piece. These are much, much less expensive and have a much greater durability. What we want each of you to do is keep in mind that CPR is a psychomotor skill. You have to do it. You have to feel what it feels like to get on the chest. I will tell you sometimes when we're old people, we do feel some ribs crack. That's just part of the process. But as a whole, we're trying to compress the heart at a sufficient rate that will sustain circulation. And in the past, we were only doing 5 compressions for ventilation. That was not keeping the circulatory effort going. So now we're doing more chest compressions at a faster rate. If you know regular CPR and can do the 30-to-1 of the compressions to ventilation, great, let's do that. But we're just finding that compression only is making a huge, huge difference. And so you might find if you've ever done CPR for 10 or 15 minutes like some of us have, it's quite a workout. So you may want to go to the gym a little bit after you learn the skill. See, guys, see, they're looking at me. Please click, let's get red in the face over there. You'll notice, that's good, guys, thank you. You'll notice on each of these guys that they have over their left pocket, they have a little blue star. Each of these guys have been involved and have saved a life. We've had a person who was clinically dead, and throughout their efforts, we were able to resuscitate this person, and they were able to return to their families later on. So this is very, very important. Some of these folks, I know one of the guys I talked to had over 30 saves. Some are just learning and just now getting into this. We have many with the 30 or 40 save rate that have been in the EMS a long time. So what we're going to do is make sure we spread out. Let's move these forward just a little bit. And we'll just have kind of line up. And Commissioner Archer, if I'll work with you, and Commissioner Cook, if you come up. Allie, if you want to get your hand in.
I'm going to take photos.
This is the deal. You can, now look, I have to tell you that I went through the effort of printing all these nice certificates out for each of you.
Can we ask the IT staff to shut down the web streaming and all TV cameras? I want those off.
I'll get my certificates out here. We'll get these to you when we're done. Okay, we do have knee pads and
First thing's always check for pulse.
Yeah.
each one's going to work each separately.
Press down hard, fast,
Find somebody unresponsive. Okay, go ahead and say. So the very first thing we want to do is we can
We'll shake.
and just make sure that they're
Call for help or
unresponsive.
ask somebody to call for
Are you
help.
okay? Can you
Check the
respond? And then you check for a pulse.
There's no pulse.
Right, but
You're going to find your line mark.
Okay.
and then goes right above that, so just call it, make sure you know exactly what you're doing.
Place your fingers.
And
There you go.
And
And
then
press hard and fast.
follow up along the wrist.
No pulse.
Find
Someone
a
calling
center.
over him, get on the chest.
Get two
There you
fingers.
go.
And then that's where you place your hands. Okay?
Keep going. Now we have to do this for 1 minute.
Exactly.
And then above your two fingers.
I like that. Perfect.
Like this.
And this is yours is a little bit easier, so you have to get that good rest. And that, right here. And start to that.
Not supposed to be getting a
You're
clip.
supposed to be getting a click.
Until we show my personal record's 31 minutes.
Okay.
Les says he wants to work with you.
Well, let them get their stuff first. Maybe if there's.
One of the things, folks, that we're working with, we've already made contact with some of our community partners. What we want to do is we're gearing up to do these twice a month, 4 hours at a time, where we will work with an area where we see a lot of people go through. And like Walmart or the state capitol, I think since you guys are pretty impressive up front, we may invade the city council and see how many of them are brave enough to do this as well. But our goal is to do 2 of these a month, 4 hours at a time. We are going to get the advertisement out. I'm going to be working with Ally and our local media to let people know where we're going to be when we do these programs. These are not being done broadly across the United States yet. I don't know why. Those in EMS maybe have been a little possessive sometimes of the life-saving skills. But what we really know is that to get the public involved, to learn to do compression CPR is going to save a life. I do have, for those of you who would like to take a regular CPR class, that would like to take a regular CPR class, we do teach hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people every year regular CPR. We do the ventilation, then get into the child and the infant CPR. Most of the cardiac arrests we see are with adults, and especially older adults. That being, I've been in that age for a number of years already. But I do want to thank you for your support. We hope over the next couple of years to contact and train 25% of Shawnee County. That will be truly a historical event. And with the citizen support, certainly the county commissioners, you guys' willingness to be brave and get up and do this, that's one of the things that people are so shy to do. And you saw it just take a few minutes. That what you learn today is going to stay in your head. And the biggest thing that keeps us from doing CPR is that we're afraid to do it. We don't know what it's going to feel like. This is very realistic, to be on someone's chest and to do this. And so when you see someone fall, in my 36 years in EMS, 3 times I have come across someone in cardiac arrest, not on the duty. And all 3 times I was able to do CPR. Others were not, probably because I'd done it hundreds of times before, so I felt comfortable with it. Twice we had a really good outcome. The person went home once, unfortunately, did not. But that, we were able to do this and get EMS on scene who can do the advanced skills. Makes such a big difference. You do have some documents. I'm not going to go over those right now. I'll let you know what the national averages are, and AMR does track these very, very closely. I'm going to be working a lot with Ally and trying to get her to help me with some public announcements and some articles in the newspaper. And as Ally's kind of learning more about EMS as we're doing things right now, I really, really appreciate them to get the press involved. Let people know we can make a difference. We can be a unique community in Kansas and across this country by getting a lot of people involved in citizen compression-only CPR. So I want to thank you for your participation today. Any questions?
Very good. Anything?
Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Ken, and thank your fine staff for coming this morning. And I do applaud your effort to go out to the community and teach this and work with our newspaper in promoting this. So thank you again.
And this is free of charge, no cost to the public.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank
much. Are there any other administrative communication?
This Commissioner's Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. Just wanted to announce I have a 5K for the commissioners to run today. So if you can get your running shoes on, we'll head outside, and then when we're back, I'll give you my announcement.
All right.
No. Actually, first Saturday of the month is coming up this Saturday on August 2nd. So our household hazardous waste facility will be open from 9 to noon for drop-offs up there, located at 131 Northwest 46th Street, which is folks going up there this weekend can travel through our new roundabout at 46 in Topeka, and we are about a quarter mile east of the intersection there on 46th Street. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Tom. I see Misty's coming up.
Mine is also health related, but I will not make you do anything. Coming up on the week of August 11th, it's National Community Health Center Week, which will be celebrating our community health center. And as part of that week, we have some staff recognition things that we'll be doing, but we will also be hosting a farmers market at our California clinic on August the 12th. The farmers market piece will run from 5 to 7 that day, but we will also have the Lions Club there to do vision, hearing, blood pressure, and glucose screenings for people. And that will start a little bit earlier, and there'll be more information coming, but just wanted to make you aware of that activity. So.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner?
I don't know
Nothing?
that I have any.
Commissioner?
I just want to point out a special guest in the audience, Ann McCullough. She's the former mayor of Rossville, and she's the current principal of Rossville Grade School. She's right here in the front. So welcome, Ann. Thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
Welcome. I don't have anything.
Corn
Dynasty?
Corn Dynasty,
tell us
yes.
about that.
The corn cob has a beard. I will bring some more of these. This is next weekend, the 8th, 9th, and 10th of August. Tall Corn Festival, annual event in Northwest Shawnee County. Lots of good stuff going on,
Okay.
so, yep.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't have anything to add. Next item, please.
Executive sessions.
I don't believe there's a need, so we are adjourned.
Minutes to sign, too, don't we?
I guess it's a good thing.